Hi there Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk's Bounty video, and welcome to my Star Wars room tour. Now in this video you're going to be seeing lots of vintage and modern Star Wars. I do collect both, and I collect both loose and carded. And what you're seeing right now is just a small collection of my carded vintage figures. So we'll start in this area of the room and then we'll work our way around and give you a good look at everything and how I have things displayed. As I say, I do have loose and carded, so we can have a good look at lots of different stuff. So this shelf here contains a lot of the sort of carded figures that I have in my collection that I perceive to be my favourites or the best versions I have of each. So for example, we have a Star Wars carded R5D4 there. That one's a Kenner card back. We have my Attack Commander with the Palitoy logo on the front there. That's one of my favourite pieces of my collection. We have the Kenner Bossk card there, as well as a Palitoy one. Very nice indeed. So we have the Attack Driver. We have Leia Organa, which is one of my alternate image cards, which I do like have a mini focus on. So you can see here I've got the Leia alternate card, the Chewbacca Return of the Jedi alternate card. I believe this one's graded. Yeah, it's an 85 UKG. Really lovely example, that one. Darth Vader on the alt card from Return of the Jedi. Then we have a Power of the Force with coin, and that's just like in immaculate condition. No yellow on the bubble or anything. Really, really nice example. Very happy to have that one. And this one is one of those figure and card back combos. So we have the French card there with a loose Bib Fortuna. And then of course there's the ARC Trooper 3-pack, because at the moment I don't really have anywhere else where we can put that. Sorry about the glare on here because of the lights. I did want to record this in daylight, but it proved with the time of year it's very difficult to, so I'm going to try and film this in with the lights on and everything, and if I do get a bit of glare I do apologise. But there you can see my Mandalorian carded figures. So we have the carbonized ones at the top there and the normal ones there as well. So we've got the Mandalorian, Cara Dune, Remnant Stormtrooper, and we have the Din Djarin. I'm waiting obviously for the next wave of figures, Moff Gideon, things like that. They should be here pretty soon. And then we have one of the Target exclusive 9-pack or 3x3-pack there. In this video we aren't going to be seeing any of my vehicles, or very few of my boxed vehicles. I do have a completely separate video for that, as well as all of my 3-packs as well, because I just do not have space in this room to fit them all in. So we have a little shelf here which I do have a couple of these drinks from Galaxy's Edge when we visited Galaxy's Edge, and my upside down Clone Trooper variant, which or Miss card, which was donated to me by Jeff in California. Thank you very much, Jeff. Ended up getting that one graded. We have a couple of the Clone Wars cards here. I'm missing a few. I'm missing a Ahsoka, for example, so I need a Ahsoka. And we've got a bit of space here still to fill out some of my other ones. Now this is my YouTube desk where I do all of my videos and everything. So, you know, I have my slave one there all the time with the 6-inch Boba Fett there, just as like a display piece really. This is there because I do not have any space for anywhere else to put it. These things here we're going to be getting graded, so I'm going to be doing a whole grading video. So my Canadian Yoda, he's going to be off for grading. One of my most recent vintage mocks, the Imperial Hoth Trooper, he's going off for grading. I was going to send that off for grading just because it's in immaculate condition, see what it comes back with. And my pink Oratet Bossk, he's going to go for grading. These ones here in the star cases, these are yet to go on the wall. I need to find space for them to go on the wall. Do apologise about the light. So the rest of my desk there, we have a vintage TIE Interceptor in immaculate condition. We've got the 6-inch Bossk in acrylic, Kota Bakia, Scout Trooper. This was one of those things from Galaxy's Edge. Can't remember what line they are. They're those metal ones. And we've got the Tauntaun there for the vintage collection. On this wall, we have all of the Rogue One figures. And that is why he still needs to go up there somewhere. The Rogue One Stormtrooper. I just Didn't have room for him. I've had to move them all around as new figures come out. So that's my Rogue ones, and then that goes down into the Revenge of the Sith clones. I like to keep all the clones together. So we have the Shock Trooper, Clone Commander Cody, Gree, and we've got the 212, the 501st, and the 80 RT Driver all in one little section there. And then if we pan round, this is kind of my main wall of vintage collection figures. And if we start at the top there, we start with Star Wars. So they go all the way around the top there, and then they go onto this other wall around here. So as you can see, I try and sort of keep them in sort of what's going on in the film. So there you've got like the Cantina aliens there together, the Jawas with the droids, things like that, all the heroes on the other wall. And then obviously you come around to the Empire, you've got Vader and Tarkin, the two sand troopers there. And then if we pan back round and we come down a row, we have a couple more Star Wars ones as they carry on. They couldn't fit all in one area. And then we move on to the Empire Strikes Back. So we've got sort of like Hoth, Echo Base, more Hoth and Echo Base. And then we come round to Vader and the Bounty Hunters. There's Bossk there, of course. We've got Fett and Dengar, the new Stormtrooper from the Carbon Freezing Chamber. And then we go on to Bespin. Got Bespin, Leia and Luke in the corner there. And then we've just hiding away there, we've got a Stormtrooper and Yoda. You have to fit them in where you can. And then we move on to the Jedi. And there's so many Jedi cards. So I've got all of Jabba's goons in a row there, skiff guards, and then that just comes down, more of them there. I've got Sail Barge, R2D2, sorry about the glare, so many Return of the Jedi cards. There's more Jedi here. Then we go sort of like the end sequence with the battle of above Endor. And then we obviously have Endor, so we've got the two Rebel Commandos there, the Revenge card and the Standard Return card. Got the By Scout, and we've got some Ewoks and more Endor figures. More Jedi, got Vader there. Vader versus Luke with the Emperor's Royal Guard. Obviously we're missing the Emperor himself, that's definitely one they need to do. And more sort of Battle of Endor figures. And then we've just got some more random Revenge of the Sith ones down there. And they do carry on all the way down to the bottom. Now my Falcon's going to get in the way because this is where I keep my Falcon on a guitar stand. I believe the batteries are still in there.
Come on! Switch over. Let's hope we don't have a burnout.
More Revenge of the Sith here behind the Falcon, and then some Attack of the Clones and a bit of Phantom Menace. So I do have all of the vintage collection pretty much, minus just a few, but basically I've had to put some in storage because I just do not have the space on my wall for any more, really, because as we come around here you'll see why. I could have filled this entire wall going all the way down, but then I wouldn't have any room for my cabinets and all of my vintage stuff. So here's my vintage Falcon. This is my childhood Falcon. If you're a fan of the channel, you'll know that that is my childhood Falcon. I've had that since probably 1984, I would say. When I was about 7 years old, I think I got that. That is a vintage Snowspeeder as well. We've got a couple of customs here. Another one of those drinks, and then let's open this first cabinet. This is one of my Detolfs. And the first shelf in my Detolf cabinet is my Bossk Focus, so we can see loads of different stuff in here. Lots of this stuff was gifted to me over the years since I've been doing the videos. So for example, this guy here was the Unleashed. That was gifted to me by the Blacked Out Ewoks. That's probably one of the first pieces of fan mail, or gifts that I ever received since doing my channel. So Thank you very much for that. Colin Hobbs did this great custom for me, and then we've just got so many other little things. My friend Paul from Shears Art drew that for me. I commissioned him to do that. It's like a Topps card thing. Very, very awesome. And then of course we've got the Kota Bakir Bossk. We've got the 6-inch Bossk. Lots of different vintage Bosks. We have the orange head and the olive head. I have a graded version one there. Got an 85. We have some Hot Wheels Bossk things going on in there. We have the Kubrick Bossk. Just a few others. It's hard to get them all in there. But yeah, that's my Bossk shelf. Moving on down, we have my clones. So we have in the back there the 327th. We've got the 501st with the new ARC Troopers at the front there. Very, very cool. At the back we have the 212th with Cody and Obi-Wan. And then in the front there we have the Elite Kashyyyk Troopers, AT-RT driver, things like that. Very, very cool figures. Do love the clones, as you know. Next shelf is going to be clones as well. So this shelf has got lots and lots of random clones. Lots of standard Phase 1 and Phase 2s. We've got the Shock Troopers. We have the 187th, which is the Mace Windu Attack Battalion, which I reviewed just the other day, and some Galactic Marines in the back there, which look pretty awesome. So yeah, 2 shelves worth full of clones. Pretty awesome. Moving on to this shelf here, we have kind of like Empire Troopers I've tried to, and First Order, things like that. Vader's there as well, as you can see. So yeah, Knights of Ren, we've got Garandan. So anyone sort of like Empire-ish or Empire sympathisers, they're kind of on that shelf. Moving on to this shelf, we have what I perceive as the goodies kind of thing. So we've got a lot of Jedi here. Luke Skywalker and Stormtrooper, Jedi Luke, a few droids, things like that. Han Bespin. A real mix of stuff. We've got Rey back there and Leia from The Force Awakens. So yeah. And the bottom shelf, which is like many people's bottom shelves in these, is just full of stuff that essentially I'm not overly too concerned about, but there's some really good figures in there still. And they're just sort of like one-off figures or figures from the same scene where I haven't got enough of them to create that scene. So, you know, I haven't got all the Ewoks, for example. Only got 3 or 4 of the Cantina aliens. So until I get more Cantina aliens, I can't really create that scene. Same with the Bespin. We've only got a couple there. And Hasbro need to, you know, give us some new figures for me to be able to complete those scenes. But yeah, that is the end of that Detolf cabinet. So that's the first one. Moving along, we have the Hazlab sail barge. So that is kind of like the centerpiece of my collection here. It's looking a bit bare because I've taken some of the figures out to put in my new sort of Jabba's palace setup, which I'll show you in the next cabinet. But we got some pretty cool figures up there. We got the Nikto Gunner again, that was gifted to me by Jeff, so thank you very much. But yeah, I love the sail barge. It's just such an awesome display piece, just looks amazing. Now moving on down, we've got some of my boxed vintage stuff. So we have the boxed Rancor in acrylic and the boxed Scout Walker. Both of those are pretty much unplayed with, unused, especially the Scout Walker. It hasn't even got the stickers applied. Still got all the sticker sheet and everything. The Rancor, you know, pretty much mint, but they look pretty awesome together. Moving along, we have the Cy Snootles and Rebo band in acrylic and the band taken out next to them so you can see them. And of course, that's the first 12 stand where I'm missing Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker and R2-D2. I did have a Darth Vader, but I didn't deem him good enough to go in there because the rest of them are pretty much mint figures. You know, trying to get a Luke Skywalker and R2-D2 in mint condition at the moment is pretty difficult. But that is an original first 12 stand in really, really good condition. The backing plate and everything's all original. No repros or anything here. Moving on down, we have the speeder bike in acrylic case. Again, that one's pretty much unused. And then we have a mint version on a little stand there just to show what it is. This is the mouse droid popcorn holder from Galaxy's Edge. I love this thing, so it just sits there on top of my dewback, which is original in the box. Really nice condition, again in acrylic. Further on down we have the Interceptor, bi-logo Interceptor. So now this one in the box here isn't the one that I had on my desk. This is another one, and the one inside here has had no stickers applied or anything. It is 100% mint. All the inserts are in there and everything. We have the mailer for the Emperor in a little acrylic display piece, which I love. Love the way they do that. We have the box here for Jabba the Hutt action playset, which unfortunately hasn't got any room on my display for it at the moment. I've got to try and find some room for this one. Under the first 12 stand, we have an Empire Strikes Back carry case, a couple of the mini rigs here. This was the Hasbro 40th anniversary box, which was the first thing that I ever received from a company. So although this whole setup is vintage, I'm probably going to move this box at some point, but I just like keeping it there for sort of sentimental value, for like achievements on YouTube kind of thing. And then we have 4 mini rigs in acrylic cases. We've got the Cap 2, which I call the Bossk ship, obviously just because it's got Bossk on there. The ISP 6, the MLC 3, and the Int 4. That one's a Palitoy box. Really nice. Very, very nice indeed. Do apologise if I'm a bit shaky on the camera, but I am holding it. And we move on round to here. So this is the skiff to go with the barge. Kind of got it set up like you would have in the movie. Missing the Weequays, which is a bit annoying, but they are super expensive on the secondary market. We have a couple of these little micro machines things. We have the speeder bike. And then just behind there we have the yak face, which came with the barge, and for some reason I've got Tarkin from the retro collection there, all in acrylic cases, of course. Now moving on down into the cabinet, this is where we see my vintage figure collection, loose figure collection. And as you can see, I've got them all on those risers there, which look pretty cool. And I would say that the majority in here are mint. So I do have lots of the other figures that you don't see here, but I deem them as betas and not really display worthy in my opinion. So they're just packed away. The only one that I do have really that isn't mint is probably this guy. And he's one of the figures that's remained from my childhood, the Hoth Trooper there. I do need to get myself a better example of that so he can be, you know, placed away in a box somewhere, and I have the sort of mint one on display instead. We've got all the Ewoks there, the whole shebang of them, so including Warwick, who's proving very, very expensive recently on the secondary market. I've seen him go for like over £120 recently, which is absolutely ridiculous. It's the bow, obviously, that's the expensive part. But yeah, there's all the Ewoks. Just some of the figures that I have in my loose vintage collection, if you will. Moving on down, we've got the Jabba's Palace playset, which is a mixture of vintage and modern. So we have obviously the Jabba's playset there. I do love that Jabba. It's great to have on display. But we've also got the vintage collection Jabba's Palace, and lots of these sort of figures that come with there. We've got Hermie there. We've got Evant Mon. We've got Jiran, very, very nice figure. Woof. The dancer there. So yeah, pretty cool shelf. And then moving on down, we have my Mandalorian shelf. So this is all the loose figures I have from the Mandalorian at present. Obviously some of them are kit bashed in, if you like. So we've got this guy, 3.75 inch Black Series Tusken Raider with the Massif dog thing. Rogue One Stormtrooper, Death Trooper, then we've got some others. We've got the Remnant Stormtrooper, and then of course the heroes and the guy that came with the ATST Raider, and of course we've got the troop transport there at the back. The only one that I haven't got in there at the moment is the Din Djarin figure. I do need to open another one of those because I gave my loose one to my son. Moving on down, we have my Rogue One setup. So we have the Imperial tank there with both the driver and commander, and we have all of the figures from K2SO, Cassian, Jyn Erso, a couple of sand troopers in there because they go well with the scene, and of course this very, very cool figure of Chirrut Imwe, which is just amazing. I love that pose that I've got him in there. Super, super cool. And then moving on to the bottom here, we have a statue of Boba Fett, which came with the D'Agostini X-Wing subscription. We have the 1/7 scale Vader from Kota Bakir, very nice indeed. And then of course we have a couple of Black Series figures. So we've got the Gamorrean Guard, who's my favourite Black Series figure ever. The Dewback and Sand Trooper, which is awesome. And of course another one of my favourites, the Heavy Infantry Mandalorian, which, you know, would be very nice if we had a 3.75 inch one to go on this little shelf here. That would be pretty awesome. Let me just close this door because we haven't finished yet. We've got some more vintage mocks to go. So up here we have my second shelf, which is the rest of my vintage mocks. So most of these are Return of the Jedi, or in fact all of them are. So we have Leia in her Endor outfit. We've got an Ewok there, Tebow. Prune face with clear bubble, which is pretty rare apparently. A really nice squid head. I mean, that's pretty flawless, that card and bubble. So nice. We have Lumat on the Jedi card, not the last 17 card. We have a Emperor's Royal Guard. We have Rees with the clipper sticker there. We have a Gamorrean Guard made in Mexico. I've got a bit of everything really. Then we've got Lando, and then these two I need acrylic cases for because I had to use them for other things. Moving on down, we have a little keychain there from the Droid depot from when I went to Galaxy's Edge, the Galaxy's Edge bag, and the Hasbro Pulse bag from when I went to New York Toy Fair early in 2019. So that's it, guys. That is my collection room. It's not a huge collection room. I've sort of utilised the space as best as I possibly can. I'm running out of space, as you can see. So when new better figures come out, I may need to sort of maybe ditch some of the, you know, not so desirable Phantom Menace figures like, you know, like him, Dulte Define. You know, would I rather have him on there than say Moff Gideon, for example? But that's just an example because Moff Gideon will fit just here very nicely, and I've got this room here that we can go down for more figures. So there you go then, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I'd love to know how you display things. Do you display your vintage collection figures on the wall? Do you collect loose or carded? And do you collect vintage and modern like me? As I mentioned before, this isn't my entire collection. I do have all of those boxed vintage collection vehicles, which I made a completely separate video for, which I will leave a link in the description below, and also the video for all of my 3-packs, because I do have all of the 3-packs from the vintage collection and the 2-packs as well. So there you go then, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate you watching this video. I know a lot of you wanted to see this video for a very long time, so I do appreciate if you've made it to the end. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for all the support you've given me. And we shall see you on the next one.